Alright, so for this episode we're going to be working on yet another perimeter. This one's going to be kind of a weird one. There's really only like a couple people that or a couple servers that I've seen actually do one of these properly and not just building the farm on top of the bedrock roof here because, they don't want to make a perimeter. But for us, we want to do the perimeter. Not only because of the farm and the rates that we do get from the perimeter, but also the decoration. On stream today, as we're recording this, we did start clearing out the area, and we cleared out, basically ran the tunnel bore all the way across the area we need to clear out for the perimeter. So we go down here. We have basically, we did the 3T TNT tunnel bore just because that's the only one I really had stretched to a full, standard perimeter size. But yeah, so we have way more clearance than we need. We have like 26 blocks or something of clearance, and the World Eater I think is only 12. So we could fit 2 World Eaters in the space that we have here, but basically what it does is allows us to go a little bit further down and not have to worry about building with the bedrock. We can just start the World Eater lower, which means it'll take less time, and it's the same effort to build the 3 TNT bore. All that really changes is the engine in the back, which is that little section in the back over there, which is really nothing. But yeah, so this is all cleared out. Dazi, yet again, has already cleared out almost 3 trenches here. They're only down to lava layer, but that's not too big of an issue because they're still going to take quite some time to get down to bedrock because this area wasn't great. It looked really good on the map. But before you could see all this lava, there was nothing here. So I was like, yeah, we'll go here. And then we did the tunnel bore, and I started to see all of this lava. This part you can't really see, obviously, but you can see the third trench is underway. And basically it only has the lava to clear. And that's good to go. And then the 4th one over here is a small trench, I do believe. Yeah, this is the bigger one, so this will be the smaller one. And then we can start building the World Eater itself. This one kind of cuts through a fortress like you saw, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah. So this one is going to be kind of like all of our other perimeters. We're going to get rid of this. I don't know if we're going to break the full bedrock roof. If we do, we're not going to break any bedrock in this episode. But if we only need to do, if we're only going to do above the farm, then we'll do that. But so I've decided with that because then that'll affect the decoration and stuff like that, so we will see very, very soon. But yeah, so we'll get onto the World Eater, but yeah, go back to that, and then we'll come back at some point. I don't know when. So, we have the overworld side. The floor is already done. Of course, why wouldn't it be done? Very simple design. It just kind of adds a little bit of contrast to the castle we're going to be building here. But yeah, so I wanted to show you guys how we do the update suppressed portals because I know we got a lot of questions about it. So I figured I'd do it at this one since I'm actually here to be able to do this one. Unlike the other ones where usually I'm at work or something like that, but this one I'm here. So we're going to try to do this for the video. So we have the minimal update suppressor. Now this could work for you, it could not. It all depends on your server size and stuff like that. This is the minimum. There are bigger ones, but this one's obviously just a lot easier to build because it's less stuff. But this one works for our server. It could be different for your server or single player world. You'll have to try it out in a copy of that world. I would do that first before you do it in your actual world because you could cause some issues. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to load this right here to show you where we actually need the portal. So we need the portal on this bottom right for both of these here. So we're going to do that, and let's get underway. So obviously when you build it up, you're going to want to turn this lever off. There's a sign here usually in the schematic that if it's up, it's on. If it's down, it's off. It basically just stops this piston from extending, and then you're going to want to get all the rails to be on, like so. And that is to confirm if all of them stay on, you confirm that you've update suppressed. And you could also do something with the sign to make a float-in sign if you wanted to, but this, we should be good. But yeah, so that's all good as long as all these rails are powered and they shouldn't be powered. Yeah, but the original schematic here, this redstone block indicates where, the original schematic, there's red concrete here to indicate that you can't update suppress on these blocks. So I put this redstone block to remind me that the portal has to be at least starting here for you to be able to do it. And can go all the way on this line, of course, but it cannot be past this redstone block in that direction. So we need the bottom right. We should be able to just break the top left portal right here. And then we're going to need some signs, actually, that I'm thinking about this to go up a bit. So I'm going to go grab some signs real quick and I'll be all right. All right, just got some signs from some trees on the outside here. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the top left one right here. As you can see, this should leave that bottom right one. So basically what it does is, for this one, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to break the top right. Basically, the way it checks for the update is it goes from block to block. So this one will go this way, and then it'll go down, and then it'll go down. And then once it hits there, it'll hit the rail. That will then update the budded line, and then that will give us our update suppression because we have too many things, and the update for the portal just basically gets lost. That's basically the easiest way to explain it, and that's why we were able to keep this guy here. So now for this one, we can break all of the other obsidian. Very important that you don't break the one below the portal yet. We'll need to use the signs to chain that to the update suppressor. Basically just got to chain it to the rail line, which is really easy. So yeah, this is actually the simplest update suppression there is. If you only need a couple or one of this, for us, we're going to do two just for the sake of symmetry, which is not really an issue. But yeah, you can see that even if you break that obsidian there, it'll do it. So we'll do the same thing on this side over here. We're going to break this top right one, so it goes across, down, and then it hits the rail. We should be left the one on the bottom left, which we are. Then we're just going to keep breaking this obsidian like we did for the other one. And then you'll see once we break this, also triggers that update suppression there. And then we'll be able to start the bottom signs here. Now you will see some other machines in the background. We've never used these before, but we currently are going to try something different for the walls and make them out of actual solid blocks, not gravity blocks, and then transfer them into gravity blocks. But yeah, this one should not update the portal either, because it gets update suppressed before it can go to the portal. And then yeah, so basically what we're going to do for this one is we're going to put a sign on the obsidian block, and then a sign on top of that. Actually, we'll do on this side, so it'll be a bit easier to do. So a sign, and a sign. See that even if we place a block next to the portal, nothing happens because it's still update on the suppression here. So then all we need to do is break this bottom portal, or this bottom obsidian. It will chain to the update suppressor. And then there you go. You're left with a 1x1 portal with no obsidian. And then we'll do the same thing over here. We'll place the sign on top, the shift click for that one, and then break the obsidian. And then there you go. There is your update suppressed portals. Now all we need to do, take down the suppressor and then actually build the castle itself. So I don't think we're going to do a time lapse of the castle. I think we're going to do a time lapse of all the wall builders because these things are really cool. Basically, we'll just go across the whole thing. And they're only individual modules, so they can only do one wall at a time. We just built four for a nice time lapse, hopefully. And yeah, so we'll do that now after we get this thing broken down. Alright, so arriving at the end here, you can see we've actually used the farm quite a bit. This was only a small portion. I did have a full shulker box of these at some point. Don't know where they are, probably still at the farming area, but yeah, arriving here, same location as all the other ones. This one, we don't need a portal here because it's in the nether. So we just have this little step down here, and we go down here. That's up there was for the bedrock break-in, planning all that out. But yeah, so we do plan to break the whole bedrock roof here. Still waiting on a new bedrock breaker. That's going to be something really, really cool to do, and we hope to use that at some point, but it's still being developed, so unfortunately, we're not going to do that yet, because it is going to be quite a substantial amount more pistons to use that. I know there is one that does recycle the pistons, but you have to use lazy chunk stuff, so it's not the best for a service item. There's definitely a lot of people online that could go here, spectated area, then that basically ruins the lazy chunk part of it. So then, yeah, it's going to be not the best. We'll wait for the other one. I'm perfectly fine waiting. We broke above the farm just so we can have the farm run at full speed. But yeah, so we go down here. The reason the deco, if we go down here, isn't finished is because of that reason. We don't want to go up higher. Don't mean to break the bedrock. It'll blow it up. So yeah, that's why it didn't really do anything. I did put quartz slabs on the spawnable blocks for the area just for now. Obviously, this will go basically a little bit through the ceiling, which is why we didn't go all the way up. Because we do plan to break the whole bedrock floor here. But yeah, so the walls were made by Happy. These pillars turned out really, really nice. Definitely get the full Ghast theme in there. And you honestly can't even see the best part, which is the top. Kind of have like little spikes kind of like to indicate like the tail. So yeah, really didn't do anything here yet. One of the floor decoration that I had designed by a custom artist. Definitely turned out decent. It's not the best zoomed in because you can see it's kind of like a bunch of jumbled stuff. This is the best I could get the picture to look in game. If I do remember to find an actual picture, I'll put it on here. But yeah, definitely nice to like have a really quick glance at that's the gold farm, that's the Magma Q farm, that's the Ghast, and then with the skeleton and Hoglin are the old ones with the old floor. Like I said before, it's a bit of a pain to rip all that floor out. And this one I think is pretty cool when you go into the area. This one's not too bad. And neither is this one. These two are like one of my favorite patterns that I've done. And they were actually, both of them, the easiest ones to build. This one wasn't the easiest, but the Wither Skeleton one's definitely the easiest one to build. But yeah, this one turned out really, really good. And yeah, it turns out to look even better once we have the full deck going and everything. But that takes time, and we need to get the bedrock breaker first to do that, which is why the walls are a little bit lower. But yes, we have Happy in the center there. I'm going to test the farm out for you guys. And I'll go turn the mob switch off, and then we can see the farm in action. Alright, as some of you may have seen from the time lapse here, we did build these walls with Euler's wall builders. In total, this was definitely quite a fun thing to do because I've never done this before, but definitely turned out really, really good to place all this basically automatically. And with 4 people doing it, it went really, really quickly, and it was just a little bit over an hour to do, which was pretty cool. Item shadowing, of course, that way we don't need any water streams, things of that nature. And yeah, did really well. One little mishap, but that was easily fixed. But yeah, so this castle here was designed by Happy, and we basically just retextured it to fit a Ghast theme. We'll go down here a little bit more to see this off a little bit. And yeah, definitely with Happy doing these bone structures in the front here, basically a little bit of modification of the actual ones that generate in game. Definitely turned out really, really nice. And I think really, really grabs the Ghast theme overall with the all the bones, the soul sand, and quartz of that nature. So yeah, this is the system that I designed here for TNT looting. I really wanted to use TNT looting because we never did that before with any of our mob systems, and because we get gunpowder from the Ghast, we basically needed to supply a little bit of sand for this smart TNT crafter down here. So this one down here will basically shut off if either one of these runs out of items. This one's a buff for 41 to turn off. So if it falls below that for either one, basically turns the crafter off, which is really, really nice and keeps the crafter from breaking. And then basically we prioritize this first. So this is the hopper that gets all the gunpowder first, and then any excess will go to these sorters over here. I have an XP sorter as well, And if we do use it in looted mode, we do actually need to add more sorters here because, as you'll see in a second, this is quite the insane amount of ghast, and I mean, that will of course give us more gunpowder or something like that nature. But yeah, so those are going to get cycled around. Just still I need to add more sorters and things of that nature, but we can get to that. It's not 100% like we need to get everything. Just because of lag would be the only other reason. But yeah, so this is good. I'm gonna go turn the mob switch off, and then we can see this in action. You can see that we actually have quite a bit of stuff here. The carpets kind of indicate what goes where. So gunpowder, gas tiers. This will be for TNT, and this would be for end crystals. Dazi did also make a really nice 2-wide end crystal crafter, which is right here. So yeah, use kind of some creative ways to get the items down to there, because we need a 2x here, a single one for the Eyes of Ender, and then another double one for the glass, which is kind of weird how I use it. Put a minecart on top of 2 hoppers, then those hoppers point into 2 observers, which a minecart is stuck in, and then 2 observers there, or 2 hoppers there. Kind of just did that to make it the challenge of making the unloaders and everything as compact as I could. It just looks kind of weird though that you're putting 2 hoppers into observers, but it is functional with that minecart there. And then yeah, the shulker box loader for that if we ever decide to use it. I can't see us using that for quite some time, but if we ever do need it for like an obsidian farm or something like that, if I can, I think this is a shulker box of all the ghast heads that I've gotten so far. And then yeah, so we got the TNT, the sword here. And then yeah, the TNT that gets crafted basically goes from this crafter down to here, goes up, and then basically this goes up to the player here that will be standing there placing the TNT. So I get some TNT up to the bot there. So we do actually profit some TNT. We do craft it faster than we actually use it, because we use it like every, I forget what, I think it was 96 game ticks I used the TNT. Basically because we don't want to go any faster than the crafter can handle, and that can only do a certain amount. And then obviously if you want to make some profit, you definitely can. But yeah, so that's for that. When we've run the farm so far, we never filled the player's inventory up. We kind of just kept the extra TNT that we got. We haven't really ran this farm overnight or anything, because we really don't need much of anything from this farm. It's pretty much a nice thing to have. But yeah, some people have been asking about this. I just haven't given the schematic out yet, because I didn't want to basically give this out before the video was out for this. Comedy 107's TNT looting setup here, basically because we don't need to have a constant flow of TNT. You can see the arrow still is in perfect alignment, even though that we're not supplying it with TNT constantly, which is really good. That way we can use our custom, basically use any interval of the placement for the bot, for the TNT, as you would like. Intervals of 4 you would need to do, or intervals of 8 you would need to do. But if you want to see this original video for comedy, definitely link in the description down below, and that will get you everything there. And we kind of use this here to basically cycle all the extra TNT and just throw it back into the sorter, because we don't waste any TNT. And then we use these simple batchers down here to basically, they're alternated, so every 2 game ticks basically, 1 slime block is getting pushed down. That way we batch the gas to the bottom here, you'll see it in the video, but batch them down here. The TNT from the TNT looting drops right here, which is in water, so it doesn't break anything around it, but still does damage to the entities around it. And then those items are funneled and then to the sorters. Very simple things, but it is really satisfying to watch with the batching of the gas down further. We do that because if we blow them up any higher, the XP does go back to the portals. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of XP that goes back through the portal. There's really not much we can do about that besides lowering the thing down further. It's not too big of a deal because you have a player in the nether. The XP will despawn eventually, so it won't stack up. And it's not like it's an over excessive amount to where the game will crash. We've run this for like an hour or so, and we've been perfectly fine. So if you do want to use this, I will be putting this schematic in the public archive for you guys to use. I just didn't want to release it until the actual video was out, so no one could claim this as theirs, and when it's actually my system that I designed. We just basically use Comedy's Luden setup, and I just designed the TNT Luden chamber with all the push down and everything like that. So yeah, let's go turn the mob switch off. Enough talking about this thing, I'll actually show it off. Alright, just turn the mob switch off, and we should be getting a bunch of gas. So I'll show you the nether side first before we go to the overworld side. And actually I need to go to the overworld side first to make sure the player is placing TNT, or else we're going to have a bit of an issue with a bunch of gas stacking up, which isn't great for lag. They will entity cream at some point, as you can see they are doing right now, but I definitely want to get this player TNT use. We'll do interval, I think 80, or do 64. It's not too bad, we can use more. There we go. TNT gets aligned perfectly, drops right in the center. You can't really see it too well, but you can kind of see the TNT falling perfectly through the two portals that are there. You just have the portals on either side, and basically the TNT drops right through the center of that. Perfectly aligned. We've never had the TNT go through the portal there, but it is really, really satisfying to watch the Ghast get batched down to the bottom here. And really just satisfying to have it all work and everything like that. And really, really nice to watch it work. And this is just non-Luden mode. You can see all of the items that are getting put into the system here. It's not too much because most of the gunpowder will have to go to the hopper there first, which is a filter, very modified filter. Just so we can get it in the space working that we wanted it to, and have the other system here that we wanted to do as well. But yeah, so it does work. Like I said, the gunpowder gets put to this crafter first. We'll look at the crafter actually. This crafter here, it is sort of, unfortunately it is directional. So depending on what direction you have, you'll have to swap the gunpowder and the sand. But if you copy it just as schematic is, you shouldn't have to do anything. But yes, this one obviously powers with at the same time, which is why it's directional. So whatever one updates first will be the one that puts the gunpowder in first, or puts the first item in. And then since the TNT is just a simple recipe, you just gotta alternate them both at the same time, and then you get your TNT. So it wasn't my design. I'll leave the original creators at a link down in the description below. This is part of the AutoCraft and Archive Discord if you do want to see that. I post basically all my AutoCrafters there. Some of the people also do their AutoCrafters, so nice way to see some AutoCrafters that I maybe haven't made yet. But yeah, so it uses a filter. 2 wide tileable, which is really, really nice. And obviously for our case, we don't need it to be tileable, but it is if you do need it to be. But yeah, so that's here. We'll go back to the nether side real quick to see that working. It is my arrow actually, so I can actually hold the sword here in my main hand. It can't be in the offhand. But you can see just the amount of more items that comes through because it is my TNT or my arrow that I shot there. You can see that once we start to do this, basically the filters can't keep up, even though it's basically 3 2x sorters for gunpowder, 2 for gas tiers, and 1 for TNT. The TNT obviously is fine. It's just the gunpowder and gas tiers that overflow these sorters there. So I'm gonna need like a couple more down here. We'll probably do like 2 for each down here at some point. If we really care about the items, which we really don't, it's just gunpowder and gas tiers, which we already have quite a bit of. If we go down to here, you can see the gunpowder is already almost back to the actual chest, and then the gas tiers should also be a little bit less than that. Yeah, about 20 shulkers boxes of that. But yeah, so you can see it is really, really nice system. We're back to the nether side real quickly, and yeah, definitely like how this looks. Even if you go out here, seeing the Ghast inside there just get batched down to the center, really, really looks cool. And then the TNT just makes them disappear. So yeah, so look at the other side real quick, and we'll end the episode off there. All in all, this, as you can tell, we definitely underestimated how many Ghast would be spawning here. We basically only prepared for 1 ghast per tick, and it can apparently do more than that. So, yeah, a little bit underestimated. You can see the issue there with all this, some of the XP and stuff going back to the nether side. That never happened in the testing, so I'm kind of confused on how it's doing that now. But, you know, apparently it's going from creative to survival. It can be a little bit different. But yeah, it's not too bad. The server doesn't build up too much more lag. Maybe about an extra MS you'll get from this. But like I said, it does despawn, so it's not too big of an issue. And the reason we have those extra glass on the outside, kind of miscommunication between Dazi and I that it needs to actually be chunk aligned. I never told him that it needs to be chunk aligned. So this is a bit weird, so we have to fix this block the outside of the farm. We could do that, or we could just break the outside portals. We've chosen to do this for now, just because it's not too big of an issue. But yeah, so this is still really, really ridiculous now that we broke over the farm. Like I said, this portal has to be here, or else the portal linking will be weird. Sometimes you have the portal over there, and that's like 100 blocks or 800 blocks away in the overworld, so it's not really feasible. So we sacrifice a little bit of rates putting this portal up here, but let's be honest, when are we ever going to need this much gunpowder or gas tiers? So there's really no point. You can cry about it in the comments, but it's still faster than it could ever ask to be. And yeah, so that's going to be for this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and we'll see you in the next one.